Hey gang, it's Anne Marie here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about when do you need to move to independent living or senior apartments? What's the difference? And what are the benefits for living there? So let's dig in. I would say the number one reason someone should move to a senior apartment or independent living is because isolation, especially social isolation, can lead to things like dementia. As people age, they tend to hole up in their house sometimes and they don't want to do as much. They don't feel good. They don't this, they don't that. And so they'll wind up being very isolated in their home. And to move to a senior apartment, even, you're going to have people around, people that are your age. That's where all the fun is. Senior apartments are fun. Independent living's fun. Nobody's getting poked and prodded with needles. It's not a hospital-like setting at all. It's just a good time. The difference between a senior apartment and independent living, an apartment is just that. It is truly just an apartment that happens to be in a community where they don't allow kids to live there. They usually have an age limit like 55 up, 62 and up, something like that. And you're not needing any care while you live there. It just so happens that where you live, they have amenities that are geared towards seniors, like they pick up your trash at your door, or, they don't allow kids in, things that just make being a senior easier and more fun. They've taken away a lot of the work and upkeep of your house, and now they're doing all those great things for you. The senior apartments will have the least amount of activities, even though they have all kinds of things from travel clubs to, men's groups and everywhere in between. But those things tend to be led by the residents, and that's true in independent living as well. So let's lean to the independent living side now. In independent living, you tend to have at least 2 meals involved every single day, and they usually offer housekeeping as well. So in a senior apartment, they can point you to a housekeeper, but in independent living, it's already built into the cost. The meals are already built into the cost. And so those things are already provided for you. And so they're just offering a little more support than if you were in a senior apartment, but it's still not a medical setting by any stretch. In both scenarios, people can still work full time, and so it's just a good place to be around other people your age and to be comfortable. And even if you're a person like my parents that isn't terribly social, you'll meet people in the hallways, you'll meet people in the elevator, and it's just nice to have other people around that you can talk to. It doesn't have to be any big production, but just to have people around your age and your stage that you can say hello to in the mornings, is a nice thing. And then all the way up to the travel clubs and everything else if you've got a social butterfly. So that's a big reason. Loneliness is a problem. Upkeep of houses, huge problem. Upkeep of houses, you're paying for a lawn guy at this point, probably. You're paying for a pool guy if you've got one. You're having to pay people to do all the maintenance on your house, whereas maybe you or your husband did that maintenance before. And so now everything is costing more money for you to live at home. Usually you're in a house that you've been in for a while, and so it starts to deteriorate with you. And so now you have all these expenses building up into your straight up home ownership. In home ownership, you also have things like taxes, and that's a lot. And so whenever you start looking at a senior living scenario for an independent person, it usually costs less money to live in a senior living scenario at that level, at the senior apartments or at the independent living. That usually costs less than for you to stay in your house that's deteriorating around you and take care of everything that has to be done there. So there's a fit for everyone. They're all a little bit different. They all have different personalities, but it's a really great idea to get in, especially when you are not terribly sick, or maybe you just had a medical event and you're over it, but it freaked you out. Let's say you fell in your house and nobody was there and you've had to rehab back to normal. A lot of people don't like to go back to their house after that happened in fear that it might happen again and something more catastrophic happens, which happens. And in independent living, that support is more, but it's still, those situations are nothing like a place where you're going to get care. care is assisted living, memory care, residential care homes, nursing homes. Those kind of things are care based, whereas these things aren't. They are more just to support when you need it and to let you live your life in probably a more comfortable setting and with things around you that you love. It's all your apartment. You decorate it just like you do your house. You bring your own furniture, all those good things, and just soak it up and enjoy it. And just love living with less stress, less chaos, and more ease and more fun. Okay, thank you for talking to me today. That's all I've got, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.